So today we'll be talking about being and becoming. This is a sort of a thing that I think is common for people, um, especially who want to talk about philosophy, who want to talk about religion, who want to talk about all sorts of things. It can be useful. Well, I'm not really sure in what sorts of ways it can really be of any kind of use, but I think that it's something that is underlying um, just sort of the physical nature of things, and it's just something that is a part of everyday life and living people's ideas. So in this video, I'm hoping to appeal to um, people that want to discuss things and want to seek truth, seek knowledge, trying to basically appeal to um, just any kind of argument like this at large or any kind of ideas like this. Um, I just want to get some ideas really quick out there. So I'm not going to waste any time, and I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to explain. So, first of all, you have being, which is something that basically both of these sides are perspectives. So, saying being and then saying becoming is basically saying, well, things stay the same, or things change, or you might fall somewhere in between. Whoever happens to be watching, you might fall somewhere in between things changing and things being the same. And so you kind of see this modeled in a lot of religious debates, uh, or really debates about anything when people get into arguments, even maybe in an interpersonal sense, maybe in you're arguing with your friend or you're arguing with whoever it is, someone in your family or just whoever it happens to be. A lot of arguments and things. I sort of see this as a theme that's underlying um, a lot of people's disagreements and also just a lot of different people's perspectives, um, just in a very general sense. Um, so, getting a little more into that, um, so being things stay the same. So the sort of if we get into the use of why it might be useful for someone to think that things stay the same, we might say, well, you can't just keep changing all the time. You can't just uh, you know this is why people want something that's consistent. Whatever kind of friendship or relationship you're in, they want to see who you are. You know, you always hear people talking about how you need to find yourself and like find who you are and like find what you believe in, like find what you think. And this is really being and becoming wrapped in both, because the saying "I think you ought to find who you are" means that you haven't become who you are yet. And so right now, how you are right now is not how you're going to be in the future. So you're going to change. Which, okay, of course, you could make an argument things are always changing, but you could also make the same argument that things have always been the same. You could make the argument you were the same person from when you are, very young to the time that you're older, And even if you do have more perspective on things, perspective on life and people, and you've had enough interaction where you think you can sort of predict certain outcomes. Um, so I mean, you could really apply this to anything. You could apply this to people. You can apply this to um, just really anything. People, things, whatever kind of interests, hobbies you might have. You could apply this to, does music over time stay the same, or does music change? Like, do we have different genres, or like, you know, does it matter? Like, what's the difference between genre and style? Do things kind of change as they go along, or do they just sort of fundamentally stay the same? And this might also relate to whether there's an objective, which there might be some objective things that are true, but also there might be a lot of things that are a part of someone's experience, and which might sort of, I see them as falling around those more concrete things. And so a person's experience can be rooted, in my opinion, in like certain fundamental truths, just about the world at large. But that is going to be another video in its own. And so today we're talking about being and becoming. So when you're going along, whoever you are in your everyday life, and you are going to work or school or both or whatever you happen to be doing, um, what is the narrative that you might tell yourself? Right now we're trying to relate this to maybe to people, um, or to one's own self, one's person. So maybe I'm walking along or you're walking along or whatever, and you're saying, well, this is who I am. I'm interacting with these people, or I don't interact with people, and that's who I am. And so, do you say that, or do you say, today I'm going to make some kind of a change. I'm going to do something different. I do something different out of character I don't normally do. Maybe if I happen to walk into a store or walk into a coffee shop, or whatever it is, I walk into this place, and normally I would make small talk, or maybe I wouldn't talk at all. I'd be very short and very quick to the point. I want to get my things. I want to get out of the store. Or do you say, if you're that type of person who does that, then do you say, okay, well, maybe I want a different experience. I want a different perspective. So now I'm going to go into the store, and I'm going to say, I'm going to say hello to the cashier, and I'm going to not just mindlessly wring up my arms. I'm going to pay attention to things around me and see what's happening, and I'm going to choose to interact with things. Like, which one do you do? Which one would you normally default to? This might be a way to test whether or not you even want to change that one thing about who you think you are, who you are. So I think also this idea, being and becoming, plays into a larger idea of just knowledge and how people think they know things, if they know things. So if you say you know something, then okay, like, well, that's fine. Now show me how you get to knowing what you think that you know, or what you think that you believe. Give me, or give yourself, or whatever. You don't have to, but maybe it could be fun. It could be like a fun game. Give yourself a justification for your belief, or try to find some sort of utility in it. So we really see all of these different kinds of arguments sort of building off being and becoming, and it's such a general thing. It's almost hard to talk about. It's almost hard to be able to say anything about it because it encompasses everything. And really, I think you could make a whole, you could talk on and on and on about this kind of thing, and um, you know, hours worth of videos and hours worth of all kinds of footage and audio and just different, just different ideas and um, but really, I just wanted to sort of make the point that it seems that this might even be the only type of argument you can have. Like, do things stay the same, or do they change? You know, I think it's a little bit of both, but also with maybe another word for this might be um, in like a religious or spiritual sense. Like, are you a monist or pantheist? Like, do you think there's one God, or do you think there are multiple gods, or do you think there's no God? Um, and and how do you think that? That's more of a question of, I guess, epistemology, how you come to knowledge, how you, the study of knowledge, like explaining how you know something. And so this is a little bit of a ramble, just rambling going on and on, but um, another one probably in the future on truth and sort of how you uh, not only how you come to truth, but also the difference between um, what's true and what you believe, and trying to make a distinction between those things. What you consider to be true and what you believe, even if you are able to ration through it. But anyways, so that will be probably another topic I will be talking about for those of you who are interested. So that is the first video on being and becoming, and it is a very you see it especially if you watch either people on YouTube or you watch people in real life uh, arguing about their beliefs, arguing about religion. One person will say like there isn't a God, or one person will say there's a God, and then they'll sort of go back and forth, argue about it, and you know one person will say, well, nothing can exist if there's not some sort of agent acting outside everything. And then another person will say, well, how can you show that there is this agent that's acting on things, and so basically what the person almost in a lot of cases you see the person who's arguing for a belief in no God is saying, look, these things are just kind of happening almost at random, maybe not at random, and like we're sort of things are happening almost at random, and humans, people, a rational mind like we are that, and we are trying to piece out, and we're trying to see me these things, and I'm not sure which necessarily happens, but it's just, they're just things to consider, and yeah, and that is just going to be just the nature of this channel. I'm not going to think too hard or try to necessarily plan out all of these kind of talks, and they're just going to be for whoever happens to be interested in these kind of subjects. And feel free to just speak your mind about whatever, and yeah. And if you thought all of it was nonsense, then that's fine. And if there's something of substance in here, you want me to do something something different you want me to do, or whatever it is, feel free to sort of just tell me ideas, and that will be good. Hopefully, my goal, my ambition is more just to start a discussion. So about being and becoming. So that is it. Goodbye.